Alright, hello and welcome buddy back to another video. I'm your Sim CFI, which means that I'm your sim instructor. If you have any questions in the sim or about real life airline flying, how to get there, what it's like, how to operate a certain plane, leave me a comment. I'll try to answer the best I can. If I don't know the answer, I'll get someone who does. So please leave a comment. Any questions are valid and I'll answer them as I can. Today we're in the MD-11 by TFdi, and we'll be landing the MD-11, and I'll be trying to demonstrate how to land it a bit smoother and in the touchdown zone. A lot of people I've been watching and I've been hearing that it's very hard to land by people. It actually lands like every airplane. It's just it just doesn't grease as easily, and that's not usually the goal of our in real life. We just want touchdown zone and a nice a nice landing. It doesn't have to be grease or not too firm. It's just kind of Goldilocks zone. So that's what we're aiming for, a touchdown zone, nice kind of just bump on the landing, right? Nothing has to be a greaser. And if you watch MD-11s land in real life, they don't really grease that much. They're not designed for it. So I'm landing with 190,000 pounds in the cargo, 15,000 pounds of fuel, which gives us a VREF of 153, and I'll be bugging 153, and that's bugged and ready to go. ILS runway 23 in front of me. The flight directors won't show correctly. However, we do have the raw data glide slope and raw data localizer, and I'll be using that. But this is mainly about technique. And so the technique I'm going to share with you is, it's kind of a bit robotic at the start, but then you just slowly start to mesh with it. And I recommend doing a bunch of these landings. Just keep repeating it either with an instructor station like FS control or with slew mode to just slew yourself back and restart. Lastly, this is flap 50. I would practice flap 35, flap 50. I'd do both of those. If I find that with all the performance calculations in the iPad, flap 35 with most runways, 8,000 or longer, works just fine. So you could do 35 or 50 depending on the performance calculator that you've done for that day. Okay, so talk about technique. When you hear 50 feet, 50, if your eyes are already down at the end of the runway, they need to be going straight to the end of the runway. What I mean is, once you're obviously lower, you're going to be looking at the very end, and that allows your peripheral vision, all this stuff on the sides, if you're focused down the center, all this stuff on the sides is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's what's telling you to pull back on the yoke. That's the first thing. So 50 feet, eyes to outside. Okay, at 40 feet, when you hear 40, your left hand, in my case first officer, left hand on the throttle is going to start coming way back. It's going to start coming back at a nice constant rate. I don't really have a measurement for you, but I'm basically trying to be idle by 10 feet. So I want to start bringing the power back at 40, and I'm going to be fully idle by 10. You could do 20 or 10 depending on the conditions. Everything changes, so this is just kind of guidelines, but it's what you can start with. As I'm bringing that power back, as I start bringing that power back at 40, I'm going to start bringing the nose up as well, because as I bring power back, the airplane's going to fall a bit faster, right? So I have to pull the nose up, increase angle of attack, which increases my lift, and I'll also have ground effect hopefully by that point as well, and I'll get a bit more cushiony air to help flare it off a bit. So 50 feet, eyes down the runway. 40 feet, start bringing the power back with your right hand. Your left hand's going to start coming back, and your right hand's going to start coming back with the yoke as well. You're going to be idle by 10. All the way 40, 30, 20, 10, you're adding back pressure ever so slightly, and you're actually landing with a yoke not in your stomach, but it's going to be deflected quite a bit, and either to the left or to the right depending on your crosswind correction. So let's go give it a try. I've muted my sim basically because unfortunately flying this thing and slewing yourself back gives a massive amount of ground proximity, don't sinks, and all this sort of warnings. So I've muted it just to spare you from hearing it. I'll have to hear it, unfortunately, but give me some seconds here, and I'm going to get back on the glide slope and back on the localizer. All manual throttle. You'll find about 70 to 77 N1 zone, depending on the day and temperature and all that. Will kind of give you a nice rough constant speed, and you don't really have to change it all too much. That's 500 feet. I'm going to put the sim up just a bit so you can hear the... You can hear the 50 callouts, I guess. Sorry for the don't sink. Nothing I can do about that, unfortunately.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
So I'm just focusing on my aiming point. I'm focusing on those 1,000-foot markers.
Don't sink.
I'm just staring at them. I'm adjusting pitch and power for it. I also have a glide slope as well, and my speed that I can reference.
Don't sink.
When you hear 50, eyes go down the runway.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
Okay, get ready.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
50,
Eyes down the
Don't
runway.
sink.
40,
Start flaring.
Don't
Hit
sink.
power back.
20,
Don't sink.
Back, back, back. Both
10,
hands
Don't
back.
sink.
Both hands back. Both hands
Don't
back.
sink. Don't
Touch.
sink.
Needed a little bit of right, left rudder, sorry. And a little bit of right aileron. And this is how I'm ending my flare. Alright, as we slow down, we start increasing the yoke into the direction. So I hope that helped. The MD-11, if you watch online, it doesn't land as it's not a greaser. It's not, there's some that are crazy hard, but it's not supposed to be crazy hard. It's just going to be an arrival onto the touchdown zone, basically. If you can get a butter landing, great, as long as it's in the touchdown zone and it's not raining or contaminated and it's not high crosswind, that's fine. But if it's high crosswind, contaminated runway, snow, slush, water, we don't actually go for greases in real life. We want a positive contact to break through that contamination and let the wheels start breaking. So that was basically the technique that I'll show you, and it works for me quite well. Again, I'd practice flap 50, flap 35. It'll change the approach angle you're coming in at. It'll change a bit of the physics as well, so give both a try. Let me know how it works for you, and yeah, basically like, comment, subscribe, see if it works. Tell me how it works. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. But it works for me. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.